So Anjum, earlier this week we kicked off a 3-course light Indian menu with a paneer bruschetta, and this is going to be the main course. So what is it?
Prawn biryani. It's a really delicious dish. So what we need for this is onions, ginger, garlic, tomatoes, fantastic prawns with some creamed coconut, some rice. We've got a whole array of fantastic spices, and that's about it really.
Okay, so what's first?
So, well, what I've got here, I've got an onion which I've already chopped up and we've had browning. So if I could get you to finish off my spices. So in here what I've put is some cumin, some coriander, green cardamom pods, cloves, black pepper, cinnamon and dried chilies. And I know it sounds like a lot, but really it's a biryani, and if you don't have lots of flavour you're just going to have a really washed out dish. So you need it. And I'm not making any apologies because I want this to be really authentic and flavourful. So before my onions burn, I'm going to put in this paste of tomato, ginger and garlic.
So that's all just blended up.
And then as fine as a puree as you can get, because the finer the puree, the finer the finished biryani. Otherwise you'll have more texture, which is not terrible, but we quite like it's quite smooth. Are they done? Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. So in with all my spices.
And where's the origin of the biryani?
Turmeric. So biryani is a dish we kind of use collectively to mean anything with rice and a meat. But actually traditionally the Mughals brought it from Central Asia into India when they came hundreds of years ago. I think about 500 years ago.
In there you've added the turmeric. Some seasoning.
All my spices, the tomato and the ginger and the garlic. At this stage you just let it cook away until it's completely reduced and the oil comes on the surface or around the sides. And once that's happened, then you know your paste is cooked. So if I just move that in here, because that takes about 12 to 15 minutes. Okay, so this is our reduced paste.
Nice and thick.
Nice and thick. It should be completely reduced. You don't really need any moisture in there at this stage. In this I've already grated some of the creamed coconut. Now again, which is this. So I mean, you can just chop it and throw it in; it will melt, or you can grate it in. And the point of that is kind of, again, it's reflective of the region. It has a lot of. Can you pass me the water, please?
Yeah, sure.
It's all about the coconut in Kerala. Coconut, seafood, rice. So I'm going to add some water now for the biryani itself. Mix that in. So I'm going to put in my prawns. So just while they're cooking, I'm going to cook off my rice. So yes, please. I do need a bit of oil in this, so a bit of oil.
So you're just using vegetable oil?
Alright, quickly, just some spices, some bay leaves to get some flavour into the rice, a couple of black cardamom pods, green cardamom pods, a couple of cloves, black pepper, cinnamon.
Sorry, are you going to bake this dish? Because isn't biryani traditionally baked dish?
It is traditionally baked, but it is traditionally made with meat. When you bake it in layers, the meat just gets tender and it falls off the bone. But if you do it with prawns, they're going to overcook. That's why I call it my prawn biryani inverted commas, because actually you can't bake it.
So it's in the style of, but
exactly.
So it keeps it quite light, does it?
It keeps it it's quite light, and I mean, it's quite fresh, but it is full of flavour. I mean, this is the main course, and I'm not cooking anything else with it. So I don't really want people to leave the dinner table thinking, yeah, it's great that it's light and it's great that it's summer, but actually I'm feeling a bit unsatisfied. And you know, as you guys know, oil is a flavour conductor. You need oil in your food to kind of get the flavours out of the ingredients, whether it's spices or onions. So in goes your rice. Give it a stir in the oil so that the oil coats it quite nicely. In with your water.
So that's like a rice pilaf, and you've measured out the quantity of water?
I have. I've put in 1 3/4 to the rice because I've washed the rice and it's been in a bit of water, so it would have absorbed some already. Bring that to the boil. Turn it down to completely the lowest setting on your hob. About 8 minutes later, test it. The rice should be done, and the water should be all absorbed. So I tried this curry paste, and actually the tomatoes we've used are beautiful vine tomatoes, which are a bit sweeter than I would use at home. And Indian food uses tomatoes for its sourness. But here, so what you really need are those cheap tomatoes, the supermarket tomatoes that no one knows what to do with.
They're
put them in your Indian food. So I'm going to add some lemon juice. Well, you know, it's good to have something to do with them. The prawns are cooked, so we're going to plate up. So we've got our fantastic pilaf.
And it's nice and light.
Too heavy for me to bring over. Yeah, it is really light. And at this stage, if you're nervous about the spices, you can take an extra minute and take them out. We like them in because, you know, it just shows you know what you're eating. But actually, some people here worry about biting into them. Okay, so a layer of the
generous portion.
Oh, this is obviously not for one, Jen. Okay, over goes your prawn and all the gravy. So all of that. This is really untidy. And when I say our food is not tidy, it's really not this untidy either.
But it's all about the flavour, isn't it?
It is, it is. So I want to have a nice kind of layer. And then to finish off with my rice. So, I mean, this is how a biryani would be laid up. And as Matt says, it would then go in the oven. And it would kind of bake so all the flavours kind of marry together.
And it goes slightly crispy on the top, I'd imagine.
It doesn't always. I mean, it can if you want it to. You can put some butter underneath when you start off, and then put it so that it's near the heat, and the butter kind of helps caramelize the rice. Okay, to finish.
Yep.
Biryani can't be without some saffron and some milk. Of course, we never really use artificial colouring as you see in the restaurant, so this is kind of a natural colour, and it really adds to the rice. And if you could sprinkle over those onions, that would be great.
Yep, sure.
Thank you.
So these are just deep fried.
Yep.
Onion rings.
And again, these are optional. I mean, if you really don't want to, you can even just use plain rice. You can use store-bought rice. You know, it is about kind of getting to eat fresh food. Fantastic. And then the biryani bit is when you just sort of do a bit of that.
And mix it through.
Yeah.
So what's the dish?
So this, Jun, is my fantastic prawn biryani.